What's up, everyone? You are tuning into Valynt Volumes today. Let's go.
What's up,
I'm Dan
Dan?
Spottsville.
And I'm Makayla Mitchell.
Yep. So we're back. Valynt Volumes.
Yeah.
Guess
I like
what?
what?
Check these out.
Check what out?
Check these.
The hat looks pretty normal. Is it the
No,
Costco
I'm talking
sweatshirt?
about these little dope glasses that I have on.
Oh, it looks like it's recording. What might that
Yeah,
be?
it's meta glasses.
Meta.
Yeah. No, for real. Like I was just recording right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm curious to see what my first person view like really looks like today.
Dude, it's been so dope to see you like play around with them because one, it's incredible to see that glasses can actually like film and take pictures, but like also
Yes.
the quality of the images that
It's
we're
like
seeing.
it's like 4K.
Like
It's super HD.
I feel like it's whenever you actually like have an actual like legit camera taking the picture,
Right.
like add a couple filters that like make it look legit, just done by like that little
Yeah.
camera in your corner.
Yeah. And look, I don't know. I've had these. I probably put these on. This is probably like my fourth time putting it on. But these are Meta glasses that I pre-ordered like weeks ago, and they did a partnership with Ray-Ban, and it has like the Meta, I don't know, AI or software,
Technology.
tech like built into it. But what it does is it'll take pictures like this. Just took a picture, and then if I hold it down, it'll shoot a video.
Yeah.
And then you can even say like things like, "Hey Meta," and then ask it a question, and it'll give you the response, and then you can see it on your phone, and it has a dedicated app to it.
Doesn't it also like play music?
Yeah, it plays music. You can talk through it like it's a Bluetooth.
So it's kind of like Siri.
Yeah, it's like that. And then also you can live stream like into like the Meta live feed and Instagram live, which is pretty cool. Yeah, you can live feed things. And I took it to the circus when I took my little niece to the circus last weekend.
That just statement, I took my Meta glasses to the circus. Sounds so fake. But like I know you went to the circus.
Yeah, it's in Grand Prairie. So I did, and it took dope pictures and videos, and it's crystal clear, like you said. Like it's really like having like a 4K like camera on you.
So how do
and you don't have to hold it. That's the great part about it. Like if you want to snap some shit, you're just like boop, beep. See?
Okay, so but silly question, but for those who've never like played with a type of glass like this, how's it get into my phone? Like what's that like?
What do you mean?
Like how does your it's just the cloud's putting on your phone?
Like, oh yeah, it's just like it's connected via Bluetooth or whatever, right? So like it's just there's the connectivity. So anytime you take a picture, it's on the app and you can import it into your phone. You can share it directly from taking a picture to like a bunch of social media platforms through text. I mean, it's very easy to use.
Like, so you could like live stream like something like meetings that you have with clients or this.
I could live stream this right now if I wanted to.
Oh.
So like we should. You know what I mean? Yeah, it'd be cool to do.
No, how cool would it be if we both had our Meta
glasses
on?
Live streaming each other.
We live stream each other and we have competitions to see who tunes in more.
Okay.
Like, no, but
yeah.
Oops. But isn't it funny to see like who would be following my point of view or like your point of view? You know,
that'll be interesting.
I have to wear the glasses because it'll capture you.
Yeah, we should tell the team to like watch us live when we go live and give us some feedback.
Well, I actually, now that you say that though, like we've been talking about how we should be capturing a lot of the agency life and like the behind the scenes feel. So like instead of hiring somebody to walk around with like a clunky camera in your face, like hand me the glasses, I'll click play and just follow you around.
It gives you that first person view, which is like pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people on social media like to see it. So like I see myself using it when I go to like trips like, you know, the Rocky Mountains or like sightseeing, like being able to like showcase people, or like if I'm like on go-karts or something at that new place that's being built in Grand Prairie, like I want to show people like live stream it and show them what first person view looks like. Or if you just see cool stuff, like when you're around cool things, or even live streaming like meetings. I just have all these ideas of like how I want to use this thing. But I gotta say one more thing. Today, because I bought these, I was served another glass kind of like this, but it's not Meta. It's I think it's called Lucid. LUCYD glasses, but they have Chat GPT integrated into it.
So like what?
Without the video element. So like you could say, I forgot what the prompt is, but anyways, you can ask, but you're talking to Chat GPT. Remember, because Chat GPT has voice prompts now and image prompts. So these glasses have Chat GPT built into it.
So rather
it's
than
insane.
Maybe the Meta glasses would use like Google or something to like look up their resources.
Meta uses Meta.
Okay.
Yeah.
But with the ones that implement ChatGPT, you're having like a very different type of response.
Yeah, very different. Probably more
Interesting.
very, I mean, I'm sure this is backed off of some sort of AI, right? But like
Yeah.
either way, like those glasses look cool and they have better different styles. Like this is the only style that they had.
Because they partnered with Ray-Bans, right?
Yeah, Ray-Ban. So like they only have Ray-Ban styles, but I mean, I like it. I look smarter.
And then
Like
you are smart. You
yeah.
just look like
Like I'm elevated like 30%.
there you go. And don't these
Uh,
like fade like into sunglasses too?
yeah, it does. It gets
Like in the
darker.
sun?
Like if I put it up to the sun. Look,
That's
let me
the
look at the
light
light.
bulb. That's a light bulb. Look back.
Did it get darker?
No, because
Oh,
it,
it has to be UV rays or something.
yeah, because if you
No.
were just inside, you wouldn't need it.
Makes
Okay,
sense.
take back the statement about looking smart.
I know, right?
Alrighty,
I can
so
still see the shadow of the lights right now.
all right, so meta glasses make you look smarter, don't
Yes.
make you smarter.
There you go.
All right, so
Yeah.
how's your week been? What are you focused on talking about this week for this episode?
I don't know. You have a lot of notes, so like I didn't come in here prepare like, hey, this is what I want to talk about. But I do want to make sure, like, as you know, if you're a first time listener,
Mhm.
what we really talk about here is like agency life, how we've built the business to where it is, and multiple, and a couple $1 million a year that is what we do. Um, I want to provide people insight on how you can build your business just based on the experience that I've had, and talk through some of the challenges and the things that we're just seeing, in
Yeah.
general on a
Okay.
day-to-day basis. So
Cool.
if you're tuning in, that's what we talk about here. And
Yeah.
maybe some side stuff.
One thing I do want to add to that is
Yeah.
that based on the conversation we had on the way here, is
Uh-huh.
we wanting to implement more of the FAQs, the questions and answers
Mhm.
to the agency, whether it's about
Yeah.
digital marketing, raising capital, agency life. So
Mhm.
for those listeners who have caught some of those episodes or interested in having more of those episodes, you can submit some questions to hello@valyntdigital.com.
Yeah.
But then for this episode, we just have a couple of topics we want to just shoot the
Mhm.
shit about.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So we had a pretty interesting experience at lunch last week. If you've listened,
Interesting.
if you've listened to some previous episodes, we're super big on customer experience, customer like
Mhm.
all of that.
We just pay attention to it.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
it translates to business in a lot of ways.
Right.
Well, first of all, we're at a business establishment. We're a customer, so we're experiencing something, and we always
Yeah.
try to find a way that it makes sense or it translates back to like what we do
Mhm.
and what our clients are experiencing, how we can be better. And so
Sure.
we went to an area in Dallas that I'd never been to before, and
Mhm.
went to a restaurant neither of us had been to before.
Yeah,
And
it's
what
a Chinese
happened?
restaurant.
What
It looked
happened?
like a little bit, not like the fast food Chinese, but like a restaurant,
It
like,
was sit down. I mean, it was at a really cool venue
vibe.
kind of place where there was a
Mhm.
multiple restaurants. They had a whole outdoor seating area that was kind of like a
Mhm.
beer garden
Yes.
with a bunch of different beer tap food carts out there. So it was like
Mhm.
a place that you come and you're going to chill for a long time, probably dog friendly.
Yeah.
And I think the manager we ended up talking
Yeah.
to shared that this place was supposed to be an incubator for different types of restaurants.
Right.
See what makes sense. If it works
Mhm.
out, great. If not, flip it.
Right.
And after the pandemic, a lot of businesses had failed, but this one was still running. And
Mhm.
what happened that day?
Yeah. So let me just give people some context. So like the plates were like $18 a plate. So like just like average.
It's Dallas prices.
Yeah, it's like Dallas price. 18 bucks for broccoli and beef and broccoli,
Right.
with fried rice or something.
Or orange chicken.
Or orange chicken or sesame chicken with fried rice and some veggies.
It was delicious.
Yeah. So
But-
like but we ordered it. So I had sesame chicken,
Mhm.
and I think you ordered orange chicken.
Mhm.
And then we ordered a bowl of
Like a big bowl of
fried
house
rice.
Fried rice.
Yeah,
It had,
and
like-
fried rice was great.
Yeah, it
was
had like
really good.
shrimp, beef,
Yeah.
chicken, and then I ordered the like crab rangoons. Like we like to
Mhm.
try. We like to share a plate. I think we're
Yeah.
realizing
Mhm.
order our own thing, and then like an appetizer, just because we're foodies and we try.
Yeah.
To
I also want to put this context that I am 39 and I do know what sesame chicken looks like. Okay.
I'm 27 and I've ordered Chinese before. Food before.
So the food comes out and I'm looking. So like we're literally sitting like this. So the waiter comes from there, right? Remember, because like you were. This is exactly how we were sitting. The waiter comes and I'm like, and then I get the food, and I think the first thing I said is I was like, "Don't these look like chicken nuggies?"
Yeah, and it's this chicken. It's just plated on the plate. Like the rice is like in a bowl on the side. It's not like sitting on a bed of rice. And to be honest, like in my mind, I
Mhm.
saw this and I was like, this is McDonald's chicken nuggets. And like
Yeah.
my mom would never take me to McDonald's. So like I maybe
Mhm.
had chicken nuggets from McDonald's one time. I thought this, but I was like, maybe Dan really likes this. Maybe I'm like perceiving this like
I
situation
thought that
incorrectly,
too.
and I wasn't gonna say anything because like the flavor was bomb.
Yeah, but when as soon as I took a bite into this chicken nuggets, McDonald's chicken
It was
nuggets,
distinct, like,
yeah, because you just know what McDonald's like chicken nuggets look like.
and
But what
yeah,
they did here is they put the nuggets, because we'll get to why real quick and get into like what's important for these listeners.
yeah,
But
it all makes sense in a second.
yeah, it'll all tie into what we're gonna talk about today. But they had chicken nuggets and put the sesame sauce on top with like two broccolis. And I swear, like as I ate it, I was like, it's actually pretty good. But these are chicken nuggets. They are not sesame chicken. So like, Mac, you took out your phone and then you started looking to see like
I
what reviews does this restaurant have?
Yeah,
Right?
because like I'm not mad. It tastes good, but like McDonald's chicken nuggets are McDonald's chicken nuggets, and if
Right.
I wanted that style and that type and that price point, that's what I would
That
have
was it
done.
wasn't sesame chicken though.
Yeah, and so
That's the
I was
point.
like, I'm curious, does it have bad reviews? Are there images of people's other experiences? And like this place actually had like 4 something stars. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like poor reviews. I started to go back to like images, and like it's the traditional type of like Chinese
Yeah.
looking chicken
Yeah.
that you
So
would
they
get.
served us chicken nuggets, and we found out through your research, quick research, 10-second research, that their actual sesame chicken and orange chicken it's not supposed to look like
It's
that.
not a nugget.
So once we figure that out with our brains, the waiter was coming back.
And he was super nice. He had a lot
Yeah.
of pep in his step. Like he was really
Yeah.
friendly, offering like, "Oh, that's my favorite fried rice." Like he was cool. So
Yeah.
he felt comfortable being like, "Hey, man, just a quick question."
Are these? I was like, are these chicken nuggets? And then what did he say? He was like,
he did that.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm
So
not gonna even lie to you.
yeah, they are. And we were like, okay. And we started like explaining more about like our experience, what we've just all described. And he
Right.
was like, yeah, honestly, there's no excuse for it. But
He
like,
went to go get the manager right away.
but before he even did that, he
Mhm.
said, so in the last week or so, the whole management staff has left for a
Mhm.
variety of reasons. Like it's not an excuse, but the kitchen manager on his way out, whether it was intentional or not, placed this order of
It's got to be
chicken.
intentional. You got McDonald's nuggets. It
And
had to be intentional.
it was also 11:30, 12. So like the restaurant was open for an hour. I actually said to you while we were sitting
Mhm.
there, hey, I think a manager just walked in.
Mhm.
Just an observation point, even before the food had arrived. And so the waiter
Yeah.
was very kind to be like, yeah, he didn't make any excuses. Then he brought over the manager, and the
Mhm.
manager sits down, and like I can see him gauging us before he
To
sits
see how
down.
we were gonna react.
Yeah, because like we weren't
Yeah.
mad. We were
Right.
just like, what?
Why do
Like we're just
my question was
confused.
like, why do this?
Yeah.
Like,
And
why
so
would you serve us? Like, why would you let your staff, and why would even the waiter,
yeah.
right, serve us knowing that it's chicken nuggets, send it off and pass it off and put it on our table? Like I
Mhm.
would, if I was them, this is just my opinion, if I was them and I didn't have the actual chicken in stock, then just say you don't have chicken on your menu today.
Right.
But like that's not the case. So what they did is they put chicken nuggets, try to pass it off as sesame chicken and orange chicken, and
Nuggies with
that's
flavor.
and that's what we're trying to talk about today.
Yeah. And just to finish
Yeah.
that before we make
Yeah.
it about business,
Uh,
our business is that
yeah.
like the manager sat down and he was like, he made a joke. So, how are your McDonald's chicken nuggets? And
Yeah.
he made the joke to the right people.
Right. Yeah. We
But
want
he
that.
was like, look, today's actually my first day. I run a really successful business down the street. I've been asked to step in to help the different businesses on this path
Sure.
that are struggling. And this is my first day here. My first question when I walked in today, only a few moments ago, was, what's our biggest issue? And the staff had shared, it's the chicken. It was ordered wrong. So
No, they're passing off chicken nuggets as chicken. That's their big problem.
yeah. And so that prompted us this discussion of,
Right.
what effect does that have? Because if we had been upset, if we were
Mhm.
food reviewers, we were just having a bad day, we might have
Right.
posted a really shitty review. And we actually checked the following day to see if people had commented on the chicken, because
Mhm.
that's going to do so much more damage to your business than it would
Right.
to just say, hey, we're 86 chicken, which means we're out of chicken for the day. Because
What chicken?
86. So in the restaurant industry,
Uh-huh.
when you say an item is 86, that means we're out.
Why 86?
It's
It's
just
just
what
a-
you do.
oh,
I don't know
okay.
the history behind it, but that's just
Got
what
it.
you say.
Okay,
So we're
I was just
86
curious.
this.
Yeah. Okay.
It's restaurant industry. And so like if they had said that like a third of their menu, let's say a half, because the other piece is beef and
Mhm.
seafood, they
Yeah.
just said we're out of chicken for today,
Right.
instead of serving incorrect chicken or bad
Right.
chicken, that's going to do less damage to their business and if they had served it. And
Yeah. So my whole thing with this situation is that again, like if it was the wrong individuals, one, they probably get a bad review and they lose customers. But like I could tell you, like, I'm not gonna go back there just because of my experience. Like, because there's too many restaurants in Dallas for me to even go back there to start with. But like the problem that I had is that they tried to pass it off as chicken to see if we would be like, oh yeah, like there's something wrong here. That's the problem that I have. And then like in business, it happens all the time.
Like, what can you get away with rather than just being honest?
Exactly. That's the thing right there. So like, when you sell a product or when you're selling a service and people sign up, buy your product, or like they sign up for your service, it's the whole thing of like, if you can't deliver what people are paying for, then why charge them for that, or why pass it off as it's something else?
Right.
That's the big issue. And I see that all the time. This restaurant thing just prompted me to like want to talk about it on the volume today. But like I see that shit all the time, even in the agency world.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you like how many clients, especially like early on with Valynt, that I've worked with, to where they'll say, yeah, like they're running this and that for me, right? So like I'll do a quick audit, and the only thing I see the other agency doing, but they promise the customer like, hey, we're going to be running social media campaigns, then we're going to be doing email marketing and text, and they're making all these promises, but then the only thing that they're doing is running Google AdWords. Well, and like no social campaigns. Or like I have blatantly clients saying like, yeah, I'm running social ads, I'm paying for it, right? There's I just remembered.
Brain blast.
Yeah, there's even worse things that can happen in the agency world, to where they're telling a client this is how much we're spending on multiple platforms, but the only thing that they're doing is running it on one platform and spending half the ad spend. So who knows where the other ad spend was going?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about 6 figures in ad spend per month. Jeez. So I've ran into those type of situations.
Yeah.
But obviously they lost the customer. When I even probed the question, I was like, hey, you're not running any social ads. So I would have to make the assumption that they were just making up reports. Look, I'm not trying to go that route, but those are things I've seen. But that's the worst way to, one, lose customers, but then also like create a bad name for yourself, which you don't want to do, especially like in the business world. There's so many options for people, so many things that people can do.
Yeah, but I mean, just like there's no parameters to what it means to call yourself a digital marketer, there's also, it's how you define a certain word, meaning like what is digital marketing, or what does it mean to run social ads? What is social? Because I mean, there are a bunch of different social media platforms that have ads running, like Pinterest, like Google, like Facebook, like LinkedIn, like TikTok. I mean, there's so many different ones. So when an agency is telling you they're running social media ads, if they're not being specific on like where they're running, how can you be mad if you don't know?
That's true. Very true. I just got caught off guard just now again, but
that's all right.
What's another thing that we wanted to talk about today?
A big one that we've been discussing is where you spend your hours in the day, because the last couple days, and I mean, today's Friday, so let's say this last Wednesday to maybe next Tuesday, it's supposed to be pouring
rain,
like insane rain.
Sure.
And on Thursday, you had invited me to join your team meeting.
Yes.
Because I was going to help with some of like the PR conversation, as that's where I've been focused on.
Yeah.
And because of the downpour of rain that evening and into the next day, you were like, it doesn't make sense for you to drive your 40-minute route to the office and then 40 minutes back, which
that's without traffic.
Yeah, without traffic.
Yeah. With rain and traffic, is an hour one way each.
Yeah. And so you were sharing with the team like why it was important to just, let's focus on being remote, today, tomorrow, the next couple of days, because it's time incorrectly spent just sitting in the damn car.
Yeah.
So that was something big. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, I do. But before I do, like, is this thing like, I think you can hear it, so I just turned it off. Anyways, yeah, time is a big thing, I think, for entrepreneurs. Like, you got to figure out how to become more like time efficient. And then one person I can reference like right now that is putting it out in the world is Rob Dyrdek.
Okay.
So like I listened to his podcast. I've been following him since the MTV days of like the Dyrdek Factory, where he was just like doing crazy things with like his friends and stuff. Like he had this big warehouse and he's like skating, playing basketball. And
I've never found an interest into like that piece of it. But as you and I have started talking about like the the business piece of like his world.
Yeah.
And I started listening to different podcasts where he does talk about how he schedules out his day and he uses a different app to like figure out where he's spending the most of his time. I've had a new appreciation for like his outlook on the world. So
yeah. So the reason I bring him up is that he's very like big right now on optimizing your time and then your day, like creating like a crazy super structure around what it is that you do on a day-to-day basis. So like his days are just like so what do you call it? Like from 7 to 7:15 I'm doing
very
this.
structured.
Yeah, they're very I mean, I'm talking about at a very high level,
Mm-hmm.
very like detail level. Like his days are structured, which also means you get a lot done. I know that's not for everybody, but what is for everybody, I think, I know, is that you got to treat time like, it sounds so cliche, like time is the only thing you can't buy, so like it's important, but like I really try to live my life that way. And once I realized this in my early 20s, like the things that I did change, like, so once I stopped drinking and stuff, so probably more like mid 20s to be realistic.
Sure.
Like I started changing the way I did things. Like a good example I can start off with into this conversation is, if you're starting off in business and you want to beat your competition, or you want to get ahead, or you want to build your business faster, the one thing you can do, let's say you're taking 2 days off in a week, right? That's like average.
So Friday, Saturday.
Right.
Or Saturday, Sunday. Wow.
Right. And there's 365 days in a year, right?
Yeah.
But what people don't understand, if you just would sit here and do the math, if you take 2 days off every single week, you're taking off 104 days out of the year. But then if you cut it down to 1 day out of the week, then you're only taking off 52 days out of the year. But how does that translate to business and like trying to grow the thing that you're saying you want to grow? Well, it's pretty simple, because I started doing that. So I started taking no days off for probably like the first like 2 or 3 years, like for the most part. When I realized this, I may have taken off like 20 days out of the year, like straight up, like only taking off like 20 days out of the year, you know, because I know there's times you remember that I worked on Christmas Eve and like Christmas Day and shit. So like I was on that track, and that's not for everybody. But imagine, let's just start here. Let's just say you take off one less day out of the year. That's 52 days. And then you wake up 2 hours early compared to your competition and whoever's building the same business. If you wake up 2 hours early, just follow me here. If you wake up 2 hours early every day and you do that 5 days out of the week, that's 10 hours a week more, but you got to be productive in those 2 hours. So that's 10 hours a week more that you're being more productive than your competition. Then you times that by 4, because there's 4 weeks in a month. That's 40 hours, right, in a month. And then if you do the 40 hours and divide it, let's just round up a little bit and make it 48 hours. So like he's doing like, 2.5 hours a day, right? Extra. So that's 48 hours in a month, right? So if you divide that by 24, because there's 24 hours in a day, that's 2 extra days that you're working per month. Then you times that by 12, right? That's 24 days plus the other 52 days. That's 76 days. See how I did all that math right there?
No, I blacked out. But
76 days extra. So the point is, time is important, and that's how I look at it. So like if you're doing the little like 2 hours a day extra and then taking 1 day less extra off, that right there is just 76 days that you have back to yourself, or you're doing more than your competition. Now times that by 4. 76 times 4, 280, 283 something, a little over 300 days. In a 4-year period, it means if you're productive those time frames that I'm talking about, that means while somebody slept, your competition was sleeping, doing partying, whatever they're doing. That means you work 300 more days within a 4-year period. Do you understand the timeline, the difference of where you're going to be compared to somebody within a 4-year period? So a lot of times when you see some of these entrepreneurs that build their business really quick, it seems like it's quick, but it also has to do with the fact that they're taking these things into account that I'm sharing with you, and they're really being productive on the extra 2 hours that they're waking up. I can promise you, like, I'm probably more on the fast track side of things, of like an agency growth and like actually building a business, but it also has to do with the fact, I know this, it has to do with the fact that I'm putting more hours in. It's not that I'm smart or anything. It's just that I understand this, so I implement this in my life.
I'm going to steal a line you said earlier.
Sure.
That was optimize your life, because you were talking about how you make decisions on time.
I do.
And I'm going to play a little bit of maybe devil's advocate's not the right term to use, but I like the idea of adding 2 hours to your day, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not waking up 2 hours earlier because
There,
I don't function best
got it.
2 hours earlier.
Yep.
What I recognized the other night, at the end of the workday, you had been up since 3, 4 a.m., maybe even 2 o'clock that day. And it
Mm-hmm.
was maybe 6 or 7 o'clock PM. And you said to me, Mac, I'm done. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I was I was ready to do more.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was at the high of my day, even though I'd been up since maybe 8 or 9. I just
Yeah.
felt like this is actually when I'm feeling the most productive. That day, I'd maybe done a couple of things around the house, started some
Mm-hmm.
laundry, like played on social media for sure. I'd fooled around, but then like at night, I felt I could do more. So
Okay.
for those who may not be getting up 2 hours earlier, you can
Yeah.
still find those 2 hours anywhere in your day. If it's nine to 11
Mm-hmm.
in the evening, you
Mm-hmm.
can still add 2 hours of productivity to your day. It's when
Yes.
you are best optimized,
I
right?
I agree
Everyone's
with you.
different. So
Yeah.
I wanted to make that point because like your thing doesn't work
Uh-huh.
for me,
Yeah.
but I find value in what you have to say. And like, I want to
Mm-hmm.
be able to apply that to my life. It's just, it works differently for
Yeah.
like how I'm best,
That's a
you know?
great point. And yes, I am the morning person, but it doesn't have to be that. It
Yeah.
could be, look, you're saying like you feel productive in the evening. That's fine. Then so that's one thing, right? But the other thing too is like if you do a life audit, I've shared this with like certain people, and if you actually audit your days, you would be surprised how much of your day like you're doing nothing, or you're watching TV, or you're just scrolling through social media.
Yeah.
You can Your average person can find like I think it was, the number was 3 to 6 hours. It's even up to 6 hours a day they're not productive in anything. They're just fucking shooting the shit, not
Yeah.
doing nothing. But those people also don't have goals, so maybe I'm not talking about those people. But the
But
point is like
you
if
can talk to those people to
Mhm.
share with it, because I was that person for a hot minute, like, and
Oh,
I'm
you
still
were,
figuring
well then
out.
I'm talking to
Then
you.
but that's the point though. Like, I'm still
Yeah.
figuring out like what my purpose and my goals really are, and
Right.
so like that does speak to me. It's
Hmm.
just I need to replace that time with more productive stuff, and then
Yeah.
where can I add 2 more hours? And so my
Sure.
2 hours happen to be at the end of the day rather than at the start,
Understood.
and like recognizing that like just because I can't or don't add 2 hours at the beginning of my day doesn't make
Hmm.
me any less
Yeah.
productive or any less like
It doesn't.
whatever, you
It
know what I
doesn't.
mean?
The end goal is, if you just look at your day in a 24-hour period,
Yeah.
it's how productive were you in the 24-hour period is what matters.
Yeah.
I just wake up early because I know in the evening my lifestyle has been that I just watch Netflix or just get on social media.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for me personally to wake up early, because when I'm early, it's quiet. I can focus on my own things and get my shit done, work out, do the emails, catch up on the stuff and the tasks that I didn't get done for the team or for Valiant and all these other things, and like pay the bills, and there's so many like things I do for me,
Hmm.
that because look, I'm selfish. Like in the morning, I do things that make sure that I'm good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I take my, like, I drink the little packets of things. I take the keto, then I work out. That's my routine. But when I'm doing that, I'm at my best and I can get a lot done. So like I just find that the morning is, but I do agree with you. Like you just gotta, we're just all saying the same thing, but it's just more about being productive and becoming more efficient.
How to optimize your life
Yeah,
and make decisions based on
yeah,
time.
and that ties into your success, and it ties into where you're gonna end up in life. I think a lot of people, like, I see this all the time. I see people like ending up in their 40s and trying to change it. You still can, and people become great successes then, but why just not start it earlier? I wish I had started it earlier than my, like, when I was 25. I wish I would have started when I was like 18 and 19. Because I just know that 6 year gap, I'd be way ahead right now, because the
Mm.
compounding effect of what it is that
Yeah.
the track that I'm on right now. So like I look back and I'm like, shit, I would have figured it out. But again, everybody's on their own race. I'm not comparing myself to anybody else,
Yeah.
and nobody should.
That just
You
made me
know
think of this whole nother topic that we don't have time for today,
what?
but I think you
Uh-huh.
might find it interesting.
Yeah.
As you said, you wish had thought about it when you were younger.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody made a very bold statement to say that
Mm-hmm.
college is wasted on the young,
Mm-hmm.
because when you're, let's say, 18 to 22,
Mm-hmm.
spending time in college, like, yeah, you learn a lot in college, like how to party, how to
Mm-hmm.
drink, and how to be friends, and how to have
Yeah.
all this fun stuff. But like, I genuinely have thought about this a lot recently, and we've talked about it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
actually focus on some different coursework or different
Yeah.
educational pieces that I could add to my life now at 27. And
Mm-hmm.
damn, I've thought about this a lot recently. I wish I
Mm-hmm.
could go back to school, and I mean, I can, but like,
Mm-hmm.
I wish I was in
Yeah, you
school
can.
now to have that attention and that like that
Mm-hmm.
desire to be
Mm-hmm.
there. And so what they said, college is wasted on the young. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know then. You don't know
Right.
how important it could be, and you don't have a direction. And so like what you just described is
Mm-hmm.
kind of a similar piece.
Yeah.
Maybe college not specifically,
No,
but
no,
like
no. It
that
is.
piece of education is, we're too young to experience it, and like it can
Yeah.
make so much more of an impact in your 20s,
I have a quick thought as we kind of wrap up, like,
Yeah.
this conversation today, but like, um for me, like if you're younger, you know, I think it's just best that you try different things. I find a lot of people that come out of college or whatever, or even with their masters,
Mhm.
because they didn't try, and it happens to millions of people, because like they're on one path, but as they're on that path, sure, depending on what college, but I'm talking about the average person, okay?
Sure.
When they come out of college, they end up going into that field and not liking it and seeing something else because they're friends in something else, or they talk to other people, they go to a networking event, or they see something on social media, they're like, oh, that's what I really want to be doing, or I want to try that. And they're like, no, but they're stuck, they feel like they're stuck. No, you're not. The thing about the lucky thing about me is that I didn't go to college. Like I went, but I partied. But because I did that, I was like, you know what? I don't have nothing to lose. I had that mentality. So I tried a lot of different things. So
Mhm.
all I'm saying is, look, when you're younger, and even now, no matter what age you are, it's okay to try different shit to figure out, because until you try different shit to figure out what you like to do, you're never gonna know what you want to do and pursue.
Yeah.
So like I think it's a good thing that people try different things, and it's okay to like not like
Change.
it after 2 weeks. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But don't become that we were talking about niche hoppers, but how do I say this? Like don't become
Oh,
somebody
don't
that
don't be too quick to quit
yeah,
something,
there you go.
basically,
That's what I'm
right?
trying to say. Yeah. Because I was listening to Andy Frisella today. I'll say this last piece. I was listening to Andy Frisella, and he talks about how business owners that start businesses will go into a niche for 3 years, and then they'll quit because it gets too tough, or because they're like, oh, it gets too tough. And they associate that with not liking the industry
Oh.
versus like passing that 3 to 5 year stage, which is really tough. We just passed that stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus like then they go to a different niche, then they're 3 years in again, and then they quit, and then they do it the third time, and then the fourth time, now you don't know nothing about these three industries. Now you're in the fourth. But then like me as an agency owner, I've stayed in this, let's say I've stayed in this for 9 years. I have 9 years experience in this, building an agency within this space.
Yeah, and with
Yeah, it
that
makes a huge difference.
with that though too, it's like,
Mhm.
what about what you're pursuing do you find like energy behind? Are you passionate about? And I'll I won't speak for you, but like I feel like you
Mhm.
really like the data piece of things,
Yeah.
the making dreams come true part of it now.
Yeah,
And
that's what we do.
when people happen to be like niche hopping,
Mhm.
what about it is the commonality? What is the common denominator? Can you find something there so you can like niche down in that, and then
Like you're saying,
venture
like
out?
why do people quit certain niches, or are you saying like can I find oh, you're saying can you find commonalities in the niches? Yeah. The commonality in those niches is that everybody has different issues in the niche that you're trying to serve, and the commonality is you quit.
Yeah.
That's the commonality, is that you're not strong enough, or you're not willing to go through the shit that you have to go through to figure out that niche and actually support it. And so like if I'm talking out loud now, you probably didn't want to serve that niche to begin with, because if you really have a heart for that niche, you'll stick with that niche and find a way to figure it out and serve the people that are your customers within that industry or vertical that you decided to go to.
Yeah, that's kind of the piece of the puzzle I'm trying to figure out how to describe, is like,
Mm-hmm.
what is the common denominator amongst maybe that person who does keep niche switching?
Mm-hmm.
What is it there that they
Yeah.
all have in common so they can niche down in that? But we're running out of time today, so maybe that
Yeah.
can be another
Yeah.
conversation for a
That's a
different
great place to
episode.
pick up
But
for sure.
I feel like we actually talked about a lot more than just what we regularly talk about. We expanded on a couple of different things we hadn't actually talked
Mm-hmm.
amongst each other yet. So
Yeah, that's cool.
good
Well,
talk.
we appreciate everybody tuning in
Yeah.
today. And if you have, what is it? Reemphasize that thing that you said. Like, hey, if you have questions,
Yeah, I really
hit us
like
up.
the idea of keeping up with
Mhm.
the Q&As. So if you have any questions, whether it be about agency life, about Valynt Digital, about Dan, or maybe
Mhm.
Mac,
Yeah.
or even just anything that we've talked
Or
about.
capital raises,
Yeah,
because
there
that's
you
what
go.
we focus on.
If you have questions,
Yeah, hit
email
us
us at hello@valyntdigital.com, and we'll take those in consideration for the next Q&A episode. And if you want to learn more about us, that's another place to do so.
Yep. Appreciate you tuning in.
Thanks so much.
Talk to you guys soon.
Bye.